Hi everybody and welcome back to another video where I go through in-depth different city plots within a region. Alright, so the last video that we did was on Settlers Nest. Okay, you can actually check out the video. I'll put like a link on the top right side of the card. Okay, and I did a few more other cities as well previously. So in this video we'll be covering on Frontier Fields. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is Frontier Fields, and let's have a look first on the layout. So you can see it's mostly flat, which is actually pretty good. You have a rail access right here, okay, which you can actually extend to the whole city if you like. And you have two different entrances. Okay, so as I mentioned in previous videos, is that when you have two entrances, right, which is actually better, you can I would suggest normally, right, to have it branch out to different parts of your city. So let me just actually load, just to make sure I got some cache here. There we go. So yeah, this cache is on sandbox mode if you're wondering. I would actually use it to branch it out, and then I would basically partition it off. That's my recommendation, at least, so that you get the like sims from the highways, right, or access from the highway straight into your city, and you keep it separate so that the main like traffic coming from externally will not be stuck in the junctions. So you want to get them in as early as possible. So you can actually get them in straight, like separately to different parts of the city, or you can have it in the middle and then just enter it if you like as well. But I would not recommend to keep both entrances to different parts of the city, so you can be sort of like smart about it if you like. Okay, now obviously when you're talking about water right here, one of the issues you have with this city is that it is not connected to any of the rivers. Okay, so there's no shipping access or boat access, so you try to actually have this. Obviously you can't do that unless you want to. Yeah, you can't really do that at all. So since you cannot actually plot any ferry terminal, means that your water supply is going to be limited. What I mean limited is that when you start to actually put pumping stations, or even try to put water towers, right, after you run like multiple hours in game, okay, you will start to see it drain out. So this is where your placement of your water and any other that could pollute the water table, very important. Okay, this is where you need to make sure that you overlay with the wind will come into a bit. And when you're placing any water pumping station, you got to make sure that you place your sewage treatment plant as well. So I haven't mentioned this in my past videos, but sewage treatment plants can pump back water into the water table. Okay, it takes time for an area which you place the sewage treatment plant. So let's just, for example, just place one down. Okay, it will take time for the sewage treatment plant to basically make the water table wet. And what I think you might have seen guides, but what I would like to do is normally is that you will place your water pumping station beside a sewage treatment plant that's treated the water and pump back. So you gotta make sure that your water treatment is basically on the green and a little bit on the yellow towards the right side. If this goes to red, you start polluting back, and then you will have another issue again. But this is one of the best ways to get unlimited water if you're working without in a city that has no access to the ferry terminals. Okay, so this is something to take note of, because you will definitely run out of water eventually, and you cannot buy from other cities, because again it goes get really tricky. Sometimes the server can be very unreliable, so you got to make sure that you take note of that when you are placing water pump stations in a city where there's no access to the rivers. Okay, so let's go towards wind. And wind is to basically always determine where you will place your industries. Okay, because any pollution that is induced by either this industry, any basic industries, or any of these mining related, would affect your residential and what kind of wealth residential you can build. So if you want to build high wealth, you have no pollution on it. Okay, so with that in mind, that this wind direction here means that you can basically place, or recommended to place, your industry on this side of the city, okay? And you want to place your residential as far away or right at the beginning where the wind direction starts to enter the city. Okay, so the plot here is quite big, but basically, if I go to this direction, you can see this is where you should place your residential. This is where you place your industry. Now, let's overlay a little bit on what we have on the minerals. So let's look at coal. We have coal right here. We have no ore in this map, and we have plenty of ore right here. Okay, so let me okay. So a couple of things right here. First, the amount of coal right here is quite little. So for this map or this city, right, I wouldn't suggest you to go on the coal specialization, because when you wanted to do smelting, right? So this smelting factory here, you will need to do alloy or metals. With both of them, you require actually an ore mine as well, which you don't have. Okay, so you need to import in the ore if you want to do, going with coal. But the problem is that ore is very expensive, right? So let me just do an example right here. If I basically do an let's see here, let's do coal. So if let's say I wanted to export coal or buy coal at 6,000, typically, right? It could be low, could be higher. You want to do ore though, it's normally more expensive. So means that eventually you need to export more coal to pay back the ore that you bring in. So normally, if I found a city where I wanted to do basically to go with mining approach, this is probably not the one to go with. But if you want, you can still put the coal mines here, and you can proceed if you like to. Okay, now what I will be more keen on with this city plot is that of the oil, and this is actually a fantastic city plot to do oil. Now, one is that you can place as many oil wells as you like, and two is that if you see with some of the other cities, right, you start to play, and then you will notice that the requirements to actually get the petrol HQ is 9,600 barrels, 9,600. So basically, you see the production of oil here is 2004. You actually require a lot of oil to start in order to get an access to petrol HQ. Okay, if someone else hasn't done it in the server or in the multiplayer server yet. So this map gives you the opportunity to do so very easily. Okay, and I'm just going to erase that, no problem. And actually, because of this, you can fit as many as possible. So if I do like an example, let's say, I put one right here, put one right here, put one right here, right? So with this alone, you can probably get to access petrol HQ within a couple of in-game hours. Okay, so I think just about basically a 5-6 days cycle, you should be able to access the petrol HQ already. Okay, so that's a big plus there. So for this city, I would say I would rather go with oil. Okay, now with that in mind, right, if you notice, right, combining with the wind, you got an issue right here is where the placement of the oil wells and the coal is. If you place the oil well right here, this entire area will be polluted. Okay, this entire area will be polluted. So I would normally suggest, if you wanted to have the oil here and wanted to avoid any pollution, you can partition off. Basically, let's just use yellow here to represent industry zones, okay, and green here to represent all of your residential. Okay, so I would suggest that you might choose to go with oil, skip the coal, okay, and basically maintain this whole area here as industry. Okay, there's a small pocket right here, right, where you can have your residential zone, because the wind blows parallel across from right to left in this situation. Okay, so you can see where your oil is, right? You can have all your industries here. So you can also have your refineries down here as well. and it will not be affecting any of the residential beside it. It will just blow down, okay, and the pollution will not affect any of this housing or any residential beside. So you can actually even do high wealth here, and it shouldn't be much of an issue, although I would prefer this high wealth actually to be somewhere at this corner instead. Okay, so this whole area here is better to do with high wealth, because there'll be ground pollution that will affect it as well, and that will cause sickness. So that's another thing to think about. So when you combine with all that wind plus the oil, then you should kind of know where you can place some of your units and plan out city accordingly. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this quick video as well. Oh yeah, I haven't add one more thing. If you wanted to also do a rail, okay, so rail is actually quite interesting right here, since you have rails in the middle. Okay, I would suggest to perhaps have the rail go all the way across the city. You could basically place like different high-speed rails right here. You can keep the middle here as industry if you like, okay, so that you can have your trade ports. For example, let me just place a trade port here. It's all basically slightly advanced stuff that you can consider, okay, and you can have freight rail terminals right here. So you still keep an industry going at the bottom here where the wind is blowing, okay, and then you can have something up here. So you can even have like a casino or amusement park right here, okay, for example. Yep. So yeah, that's rail, just an add-on to what I will normally talk about as well. And I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I love sharing some of my thoughts and ideas, and sort of like give you a very good idea how you want to plan your city from the beginning. Okay, so if you do like my video, just give me a like. You can watch some of my other videos I did of recovering some abandoned cities to give you some ideas as well based on some other builds. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Take care.